After the retreat of Russian troops from Lyman in the fall of 2022, the issue of restoring control over the northern part of the DPR has become acute. This is necessary to restore the territorial value of the Russian region temporarily occupied by the AFU. At the moment, Russian troops are separated from Lyman by several settlements, for which there is heavy fighting. For a long time, the Russian troops made attempts to break through to 𝐑𝐲𝐫𝐚 and 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚 from the east, from the direction of 𝐑𝐮𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐚. However, none of them were successful. Each time, the assault groups rolled back, losing equipment under drone strikes and mines. After several dozen unsuccessful attacks, the Russian armed forces began to cut through the enemy defenses to the north, and by the end of September, 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚𝐢𝐧𝐞 had been liberated, allowing them to press on 𝐑𝐻𝐻 from the north. After that, the Russian attacking forces went south along the eastern bank of the 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚 River, advancing with heavy fighting supported by multiple artillery and airstrikes. Novosadov was liberated, and by the end of October, the advance groups had clinched 𝐑𝐻𝐻. At the same time, east of 𝐑𝐻𝐻, the Russian armed forces were also active to divert the enemy. By the end of the year, almost the entire territory of 𝐑𝐻𝐻, which was lying in ruins by that time, came under the control of the Russian armed forces. Heavy fighting took place on the southern outskirts. It actively counterattacked, engaging armored vehicles in nearby 𝐷𝐻𝐻 and shelling Russian positions from 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚 and 𝐷𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐻. As early as January, Russian troops forced the 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚 River and liberated 𝐷𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐻, marking an offensive toward 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚. This made it possible to mop up the remnants of the 𝐑𝐻𝐻 and fight for 𝐷𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐻. On both directions, there were heavy counterbattles. However, the Russian attackers still managed to take the strongholds that precede the passage in the well, and the battle for the settlement officially began. In 𝐷𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐷𝐻𝐻, the enemy also managed to delay the Russian attackers, and now maintains a presence only in the plantations south of the settlement. By the mid-20s of February, it was clear that Russian forces had significantly expanded their zone of control on the west bank of the 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚 River. After several days of assaults, the enemy had lost about half of the fortified area between Nov and 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚. By the current moment, fighting continues in the 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚-𝐶𝐠𝐞 sector. In case of successful advance of the Russian armed forces, we can expect an entrance to 𝐑𝐲𝐫 and 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚 from the north, and this will open the road to Lyman and Drobyshev, which are the key not only to the road to Sloviansk, but also to advance in the neighboring Siversk direction.